everyone, I'm Malaceo and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be focusing on pretty much doing an ultimate packing guide, especially for Black women who want to be as minimalistic as possible, in my opinion. There's certain things that I've seen and I will talk about it in pretty much throughout the video where, for example, if people use like 2 bras, you know, or, things like that in, packing for the entire week. Like there's certain things I feel like that's going to be different as far as like what's minimalistic to me and things that I feel like will be really essential. But this is before I actually physically leave, and I'm just putting like a disclaimer out there. Also, I feel like it's more focusing on Black women. I also have certain things that I pack that is very specific to Black woman's hair in particular, and also certain things that other people, or I feel like nobody else would really be packing unless you have our type of hair or our hair texture, like, even like using bonnets and stuff like that. So this is the first of my entire series, and then all of my series. So I have tech, I have personal items, I have sanitary items, and then also like clothing and shoes and stuff like that. And I will have separate videos for each, but then I will also put them all together so you can watch it all the way through. And I might just throw in maybe I might just throw in a whole packing section where you guys can actually see me close up packing everything into the suitcase. Okay, so this is the tech video, and this is me starting off. I'm an interior designer. I have my own interior design business, so I'm not necessarily, I will be traveling and vlogging that, but this isn't a travel channel necessarily, if you guys get what I'm saying. Like I will be talking about, me, my life, and things that happen behind the scenes with having a business, and I just happen to also be traveling. So just a look into my life and stuff like that. Like I will have, I just feel like I want to talk to my friends and stuff like that. You just smoozing over brunch and stuff like that, but you still talk about things that happen. But as far as me going to a place just to get views, it will be based on me and what I like and what I come across. And sometimes it's nice to go off the beaten path. Maybe you find something and it becomes popular later, or people didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. So sometimes it just helps to, I guess, do things your own way. And like I said, I don't know if I'll be traveling for the rest of my life. So you get what I'm saying? So it's like, try to be a little bit smart with the channel. Like, it's not a hair channel, it's a channel about me, See? Okay, I'm not gonna even go off on a tangent. Okay. So my first item with tech, I got a very cheap set of headphones. This is Soundcore, and pretty much over the ear headphones, very comfy, very nice, especially when you're traveling, and it has like noise cancellation, but it's not as good as like the Apple headphones or the Sony headphones. Those things, both of them, I think the Apple one is like $500, and the Sony ones I was looking at was like, maybe there was over $300. I know there was well over $300. But I got these on sale, and I believe it was like for $70. So I tried them out. Noise cancellation is like pretty good. For example, I've been wearing them when I've been like working like my regular 9 to 5. So for example, when I go to get the mail, I couldn't really hear the cars until they came up and like they was literally passing me. So I think they'll pretty much be good for the overall like noise cancellation that you need overall. I also have my light. Why I'm not using it now, I was too lazy to set it up. So pretty bright, pretty nice. And also charging port. A lot of my charging ports, so like I'm happy that a lot of my charging ports is pretty much the same. I only got like 2 different ones for the most part, but yeah. So this is for when I film, and maybe if I'm somewhere that's like super super dark, because right now I have my lights on, it's light outside, and I also have a flash from my camera, from my phone. This one is pretty nice. It's flat. It's not too big. It's not too bulky. It fits like right in with everything else when I'm organizing it. And this is not super fancy, but my cords for everything, I have extra cords in case someone will take some or whatever happens, But I do have extras. I have cords that come with certain items like my Wi-Fi and things of that nature for my phone, for my laptop. So that's pretty much the gist of like, what I'll be charging. Speaking of me being a interior designer, pretty much the 3D program I use, and this is just behind the scenes, but the 3D program that I use, it's pretty hard to use it without one of these type of mouses. Makes it super easy, but this mouse, as you can see, is super big. It's super bulky, but when it's time to like do your work and move through any 3D program, it's great. You can recharge it. You don't need batteries. It hooks up effortlessly. It's a really good mouse, especially at a lower price point. So I got this like maybe a year ago and it's still rocking. It's still good. I have no problems with it. So this is also being packed in. It's just, it really irks me how bulky this thing is. And to be honest, I actually bought this mouse a little bit before I came to the conclusion that I would be packing everything in a carry-on my entire life, if you will. So that's my mouse. Everybody, I don't care who you are, everybody is going to need this universal charging port. Like, you're going to need it. Like, you have pretty much the 2 ports that I need for the most part. I also have my Apple one. So I have my Apple one here, and it does come and it disconnects. So it's pretty easy to use. Like, I use this to charge my phone directly, and obviously my laptop, because that's what it came with. But I don't care who you are, you need this. Okay. This right here is portable. So this can charge solar panels for charging solar charging. Girl. Anyway, I didn't even take a shot yet. Anywho, also have lights, bright lights. You never know. And I was in a Girl Scout back in the day. Man, something like this would it would have made my day. And also it reminds me of sometimes like the little spy kits. Did y'all like have a little spy kits and stuff like in the 90s and stuff? Because you like was reading those books or like watching Totally Spies. That was my jam. It still is my jam. But you can see it has like different ports. And also for charging directly. And pretty much like it pack a wall up. Like it can charge several items at one time and keep everything charged, especially for and I feel like when you purchase stuff, I think it's really smart to try to think of like the best case scenario. Yes, but you don't want to pack for that. You also want to think about, to a certain extent, realistically the worst case scenario. So for me, on my way flying overseas, my whole flight time, well, not just my flight time, but I have a pretty long layover. But with that layover, I will be traveling for like 36 hours. So with traveling that long, and just in case something happens, you never know, I have a charging port that's ready to go. All of my stuff can be charged. All of my stuff is ready to go. So you already know that you have something that you can heavily rely on. So right here is my portable Wi-Fi. So right here you can get like subscriptions and stuff like that for this, and you can use it all over the world. It pretty much connects to like local services and stuff, and with your subscription you pretty much get access to the internet. And from what I heard, it's pretty good. And I'm in Georgia, but I'm out in the sticks. Like I'm from like where my peoples come from. Like we way out there. So yeah, if this works out here, and how slow the internet is and how far away we are from, like I can say like at least from here, like all these trees and stuff out here, it works pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying it's the fastest that it can be, but you can get your work done on this. Because I speak to you guys now and I started this YouTube channel, I did break down, I think it was a couple of videos earlier, but I did break down and I bought a new set of microphones. So now everything can connect with each other effortlessly. And this right here, for anyone that does like YouTube, you see these things everywhere. I got the 5 terabyte, not just for my videos, but also, like I said, I do, other videos, and I have 2 other YouTube channels that's specifically for interior design. But to be honest, like those files from my SketchUp and with Twinmotion and stuff like that, the making and like rendering and stuff, like those take up a lot of space. So having this, and I already downloaded stuff on there, and pretty much like all my old files are on this, so it's pretty good. Like it's a hard drive. So I do have my earpods, but like they're over there charging. I feel like everybody know what earpods are. Those are probably going to just most likely be like my day-to-day type of situation. If I'm walking around and stuff like that, I won't be carrying around these bad boys unless I'm probably like at a cafe or it's like a work day or something like that. But I also, like, you can't see it, but if you guys want me to like later do like a video or anything about it, then I will. But I do have a tripod, and it has like this little clicker right here which starts videos or takes pictures and stuff like that. Since I'm solo dolo by myself and things of that nature, it helps like if I could start or whatever with the video and stuff and not have to constantly get up and this, that, and the other. So I also have my baby, my MacBook. So pretty much my life is my MacBook and my iPhone 16 Pro Max. So this is my first time with a Pro Max. Like I always had the Pro, I believe, as long as they've been making them. But especially I got it mainly for the battery life, and I will be taking pictures, and I have the storage and everything like that, like pretty much the works with the phone. So I wanted to be able to sort of compress everything that I have as far as like tech and stuff like that, because I spent months looking into a camera, and girl, you'll see with this packing video, I was not, if it does not fit, you must have quit. Okay? So far as all of my tech stuff, that is my tech stuff. I do want to go into Also, my Apple Watch. So I do have my Apple Watch. It's just, I don't really think you would need it necessarily. I might update it, years down the line, depending on if I'm doing more like outdoor activities, and get the Ultra one. But, it's a watch is a watch. And it also helps you keep track of your stuff. And not only keeping track of your stuff, but I also have Apple Watch. If I lose anything, I'll be able to find it or try to find it in some way, shape, or form. I got my cards on here. I got any passes that I can put on here. Priority pass, all of that stuff. My Venture One card, like all of that stuff. I also have it on my actual phone, but you don't know. You just don't know. My earpods, but I'm on like just a little thing. Like, I know people be like, oh my God, people have their opinions and stuff, but I bought these mugs in 2018. It is 2025. I bought these in 2018. It is 2025. And they're still good. The only problem I ever had with them is when, like, my ex, we had the same ones, and having them next to each other, sometimes they sync up with each other. So it was like, something happened with, that. But as far as like the sound quality, and like this was a good $250 to spend. 2018, now 2025, I have no complaints. So one thing I feel like people don't necessarily say or bring up, but these right here, you can keep track. I got one in my suitcase. I got one in my book bag. I got one where I got like a separate wallet from my actual wallet. So I have my like passport type of wallet. I have one of these in there, and then I have, like I said, my actual wallet. So even if I do lose stuff or something gets taken, I have like a passport card and then my actual passport. So they're in separate wallets, to say, and each one of them have a tracker essentially. So all of my stuff can be tracked. All of my stuff, I know where it's going to be. If it goes somewhere, I can find it easily. I'll be able to shut it down if I need to shut it down, recover if I need to recover. Putting like your information on your phone in case it gets lost or whatever happens, like make sure that you have, you sort of go through the little things that you need to go through to, properly use your stuff to be able to get it back if it's stolen or if it's lost and stuff like that, so you can recover it. So yeah. Also a little tidbit, little side mark. Both of my wallets, like my passport and stuff like that, like I will show it later on. I forgot what it's called. I probably put it at the bottom, but it's like RDFI, FI, something like that, where people can't just scan your bags or scan your stuff, where they can get your card information. That's another one to look out for, but I'll try to like put it in there or like on the screen or something for you guys to see. Okay, so that is my first segment, that is tech, and we are going to move on to the next section.